Hello everyone. So I'm doing my testimony video. So here goes. Okay. I was born and raised in a Christian home. My father, I remember taking us to church a lot. We kept going to church, learning about the Bible. Well, later on, my father died. He died of cancer, and when he died, I knew that Jesus had the keys to heaven and hell, that he could have snapped his fingers and made my father whole. Well, because Jesus didn't do that, I blamed Jesus. So from that moment on, I decided that I was going to make myself so evil of a person that Jesus would have no choice but to send me to hell and in turn hurt God in the same way that I felt that God hurt me. So that's exactly what I did. I spent numerous years going through the Bible, not really going through the Bible, but just thinking about um, what the things in the Bible that I knew were bad. And those were things that I practiced. Those were things that I did. Those were things that I was about. Um, and when I say I've done everything in that book that it says not to do, trust me, I've done everything in that book that it says not to do. Um, I would always think about myself and nobody else. I would step on whoever I wanted to step on. I would take advantage of whoever I could. I did everything I could think of that would make God angry at me. Anyway, so fast forward a while. So my plan is continuing as it basically goes. And I remember one day I'm sitting there and I'm expecting God's wrath to come upon me. I'm expecting the lightning bolt to hit me. I'm dead in the story. Okay? I'm expecting his full wrath and anger to be shown on me. And instead, he says the one words, or the three words that I never expected him to say, which was, I love you. And it wasn't in a way that was the same like the world says it, where they just go, oh, I love you, whatever, I love you. No, it was heartfelt and true. And I remember the moment he said it to me. It was soft and gentle. And I remember the walls that I had created around my heart to protect my heart from being hurt by other people. And it wasn't that I didn't want love, it was that I knew that if I let anybody get close to me, I would lose them. Or at least I felt that way. So those walls came crumbling down the moment he said, I love you. The one thing I never expected my God to say to me was the one thing he actually did say to me. And he showed great mercy and love in that. And so from that moment on, there was a change. And it wasn't a complete change. It wasn't a change that was, something that was really, instantaneous. Parts of it took a while, other parts did not. Okay? So, but I knew there was a change. And it started gradually, and then it continued, and it continued, and it continued to grow. But the thing about my faith now is that I look back on where I was and how I felt towards God versus how I feel now about God. Whereas before, God was the enemy. God was the one that I didn't want anything to do with. He was the one that if you tried to bring God towards me, I told you, get lost. Get away from me with that junk. I don't want nothing to do with it. And my life before was filled with hatred. It was filled with anger. It was filled with um, prejudice. It was filled with being racist a little bit. It was filled with so much evil in my heart and inside. It was filled with all these things. And God released those things. And I'm not going to sit here and try to say I don't battle my flesh. I don't battle the things that were in my life before. I still battle those things. Everybody does. But now, my greatest source of strength in my life has been from God. And the way I view God has completely shifted as where it was before. Like I said before, I hated God. I couldn't stand God. But I think God saw beneath all that hatred or that anger and saw that I was hurting. And I think that's why he reached out to me about it. So here's my message to anybody who views this video. There is no height, there is no depth, there is no area in life that you can go where God is not willing to run after you and save you. My Bible verse is Psalms 18:16 for my life verse. And it says this: For God reached down from on high and took hold of me and drew me out of deep waters. See, in my sin, I was dead. I was Lazarus. I was drowning and dead in my sins. And the Father of all fathers reached down in his own will and drew me, picked me up out of those waters. Okay? And I can happily say God has removed so much from my life that I was trying to hang on to, including porn addiction, 20 years plus porn addiction, anger, hate, malice, lack of self-control. There was so much stuff that I was holding on to. There was so much stuff that I was bitter and angry about and that I was hurting about. And these are things that God removed from my life. Satan still tries to bring things back every now and then, as he's going to do. But think about this. If God can take a man who hated him so very much and turn him into a man who craves and loves time with God, then there is no place on earth where he cannot go for you. Victory is found in surrender. And I know that a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand what it means to surrender and give up control. Okay? So I don't care how bad you feel about yourself. I don't care how bad the view is about you. I don't care how bad you think you are. God calls you his child. And God says, I have died for you. I died on the cross for you, and I took your place. I bled for you. Sorry. I bled for you. I took your place. I can save you if you let me. See, the thing about that is you have to let God save you. You have to let God change you. Okay? But it has to come from you. It has to be your choice. You take a step and God meets you. You take another step and God meets you. Okay? So if he can do that for me, if he could take someone who was so bad in my own view, who was filled with all sorts of nastiness, who was basically the same as the Pharisees, clean on the outside, or presented myself as clean on the outside, but hate, evil, and nasty on the inside. If he can take that and turn that into someone who loves time with him and who adores time with him and who tries to be a Christian as best as he can. But even that saying is wrong. Tries to be a Christian. See, that's the whole point. You don't have to try. All God wants for you is to follow after him. That's it. You don't have to clean yourself up. You can bring all your dirt, all your mess, all your filthiness to God. And over time, he changes you. Okay? But know this. You cannot continue living in sin every single day, practicing sin willingly, and think that you're going to stay belonging to God. Okay? No bad tree bears good fruit. No good tree bears bad fruit. Okay? But we are all human. We're all going to stumble. So don't let that stumbling convince you you're bad. Okay? Because in God's eyes, you're redeemed. Okay? Be blessed, everyone, and thank you for listening to my testimony. Okay? If he can save me, he can save anybody. Be blessed.